Hey guys, this is Catastrophe here. We're going to be looking at the QSP Penguin today, so let's get right into it. The blade length on this knife is just at about 3 inches or 7.62 centimeters. The handles on this knife is going to be about 4 inches or 10.16 centimeters, but the overall length of this knife is roughly 7.12 inches or 18 centimeters. It's not a very thick knife. It's about the same as the Elementum. It's probably a little bit thicker, but not a lot at all. So it's pretty thin. It carries well in the pocket. It's not too heavy, not too light. So, I mean, it has a slight handle bias when it comes to weight, but I mean, that it makes it feel really nice in the hand. It's not crazy different or anything, so I really like it. This is the micarta with the Damascus steel. I can probably zoom in there. I don't usually like Damascus, but oh my god, focus. So I don't usually like Damascus, but this Damascus blade I actually really like. I think it looks nice. So this is a really good, affordable option. I mean, micarta with D2 is $30, give or take. So it's a really solid budget option. It goes anywhere from $30-ish with the micarta and D2, or if you want something a little more higher end with 154 cm steel and titanium, it will be just under $100. So it's a pretty solid knife for the money. The cheaper options do come with washers, and the higher end come with ceramic ball bearings from my understanding. But even on washers, this thing, the action is incredibly smooth. No issues at all. It comes out of the box with like extremely good centering. It's dead on mine. There's no blade play horizontally or vertically. It's really solid. It comes stock with deep pocket carry, and if you can see that, I don't know how in focus that is right now, but it's extremely deep. You're not going to even see the knife in your pocket. The pocket in your knife, yeah. The way the clip works is actually really interesting. If I zoom in and if it wants to focus for once, you'll see that there's a hole there. The lighting's kind of bad, sorry. There's a hole there, and what you would do is you'll unscrew it and slide the clip in there and screw it in. It's an ambidextrous clip, but it's tip up exclusive, which isn't bad. From anybody that carries knives, they always tell you tip up is the way. So focus. So my only complaint about this clip really is, if you look, the screws aren't very flush with the scale, so it kind of defeats the purpose of making it more flush by putting it in the scale. I digress. So the detent on this knife is perfect. Like, you're not going to accidentally misfire this knife. You're not going to under deploy it. I don't know what you would call it, but even if I push it as soft as I'd want to, it's still going to open. It's strong, but it's not overly strong. I really enjoy the action on this knife. Another thing I really like is the double thumb studs. As you can see, as I just did, you can spidey flick it. You can just flick it open normally. I really enjoy the fidget factor of this knife, and the smooth action really just adds to it. So it's really solid in that area as well. It's not going to be drop shut action, as you'll see. Like, you have to give it a good shake for it to even get close to being able to drop shut. But I mean, $30. You're not gonna. I wouldn't expect that kind of action. The blade on this thing is very nice. I really like it. It's a sheep's foot style blade. It's very straight. and it makes it very easy to sharpen. And not only that, but it's a pretty good utility knife for that reason. There is jimping up right here. It's kind of subpar. It's very smooth. Unless I'm really digging in, it's not gonna catch my finger really. But I do wish there was a cutout here for your fingers. I can get even a higher choke on the knife, but there is none. That is one downside for me, at least. It's very good for precise cuts, utility knife usage. It's pretty thin. It's a very slicey blade, or it's straight, but it gets very thin towards the edge, and it's a pretty decent thickness on the top. It's still very thin though. But I mean, I really like the blade shape and the blade. For my use, it's pretty good opening packages, opening new knives. I should have mentioned it when I was talking about the thumb studs, but one downside about these thumb studs, they're very sharp. When I first got this knife, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I mean, my thumb is still healing from that. I mean, it's not a big deal. The overall strengths of this knife, I would say that, I mean, it's a very, very, very solid cheap option for budget buyers. I mean, $30 for a knife like this, I would jump at in a heartbeat if I didn't have one already. Has very, very amazing action. Nice pocket clip. Deep carry is probably my favorite style of pocket clip. Very fidgety. Very, very, very fidgety. I can sit here all day and just flick this thing open. It feels very satisfying to just deploy and do whatever you want to do with. I mean, even Spidey flicking it. Very, very satisfying. The liner lock access, I wouldn't ever really consider a pro on a knife. I really don't like liner lock, because usually, like, I mean, on the Elementum, if you look, there's no cutout, so you really have to dig your thumb into, like, down into the liner, and I honestly hate the way it feels on my thumb. But for this knife, if you look, there's a cutout there, and it's just enough to where you can comfortably get it out of the way, and I really, really appreciate that. That's probably my favorite part about this knife. It made me appreciate liner locks for once. And just the overall ease of sharpening. I mean, there's no curve to keep an angle at. You just keep it straight. Just push it, do whatever you gotta do. It's very, very easy. And the only weaknesses I can think of in this knife, a lot of them, I mean, most of them I had to really force myself to give. One for sure would be the thumb studs. They're very, very sharp. They don't feel, I mean, they get a good grip on your finger, which is good, but like I said, it really messed up my thumb for a bit. The jimping on the top of the blade here could be a lot better. Like I said, it's very smooth. I mean, if you look at it from the side, you can't even tell it's there, really. I don't know if that's focusing. Yeah. So you can't even tell it's really there. It's very, very weak, and I don't really like it. The screws under the pocket clip kind of defeat the purpose of it being in the scale and making it flush. It's not a big deal, but like I said, I'm kind of grasping at straws for cons of this knife. And I mean, again, just forcing cons. The screws on the body are very small, which means they'll probably be pretty easy to strip and mess up. But I mean, again, $30. This is a very solid knife regardless. I would easily recommend this knife. It's one of the best budget knives I've ever used, and I mean, it's a pleasure to use. I absolutely adore the knife. I actually wanted to get more in different configurations just because I like it so much. It's very great for everyday carry, and it's very great to keep in your pocket because you can barely even feel it's there. Cuts very nice, easy to sharpen. I don't know what else you'd want to ask for. So thanks for watching, guys. Next I'll probably do a review on this Elementum. I really like this Elementum. It looks very, very nice. So next time I'll review this knife, and leave your suggestions in the comments and I'll be sure to check them out. So thanks for watching, guys.